Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're tackling self-awareness in leadership. It's a term you hear a lot.
Mm-hmm. Of a buzzword sometimes?
Exactly. But we're going to look beyond the buzzword and, really explore why it's such a powerful, transformative thing.
Absolutely. A real game changer when it's genuine.
So our mission here is to unpack how truly understanding yourself can shift not just leaders, but like whole organizations.
Right. It ripples outwards.
Yeah. And we've got some great material to work with, a collection of real-world case studies called Leaders Transformed by Self-Awareness.
Good stuff. It lays out the problem, the process, what they actually did, and the results. Very clear.
Perfect. So our goal is to pull out the key insights, to kind of give you a shortcut to grasping this critical leadership piece. Okay, let's dig in.
Let's do it.
First up, Satya Nadella at Microsoft. Now, when he took over as CEO back in 2014, the vibe at Microsoft was, well, a bit stuck, maybe.
Yes, stifled is a good word. Lots of internal competition, teams working in their own little bubbles,
Siloed, right. And
Yeah.
that was really hindering innovation, growth, the whole package.
Definitely. And what's really interesting here, I think, is Nadella's own moment of self-awareness. It wasn't just a business strategy thing.
Oh, how so?
Well, he realized his background, his engineering mindset, was super focused on the tech, on the outcomes,
Yeah.
which is great, but maybe lacked that crucial focus on people, on empathy,
Okay.
and a really powerful personal experience caring for his son, who has special needs, apparently, that really brought home for him just how vital empathy is, not just in life, but in leading people.
Wow, that connects the dots in a really profound way, from personal insight straight to professional approach.
Exactly. It wasn't abstract for him.
So how did that translate? I mean, Microsoft's huge, known for being pretty competitive internally back then. How do you take that personal insight about empathy and actually, change the culture day to day?
Good question. It wasn't just talk. He really championed what he called a growth mindset.
Sure.
Shifting the whole company culture from feeling like you had to know it all to being eager to learn it all.
Learn it all. I like that. What did that look like practically?
Well, things like encouraging teams, especially engineering teams, to be open about failures, not just trumpet successes. Learning from mistakes became okay, even encouraged. Collaboration over competition was actively pushed.
And he listened, really listened to employee feedback on the culture issues.
Yeah, reports suggest he took that feedback very seriously, made it clear it was being heard and addressed.
And the results were pretty staggering, right? Market value tripled in 5 years.
Yep, tripled. Now, obviously, you can ask, was it just the culture shift? Market forces always play a part. Cloud computing was booming.
Sure. You can never isolate it completely.
Right. But the internal change was undeniable. You saw a much more collaborative atmosphere, more innovation bubbling up. And crucially, employees reported feeling more satisfied, collaborating better across teams.
So even if you can't draw a perfect straight line, there's a really strong correlation between his self-aware leadership, the culture change, and that massive financial turnaround.
Extremely compelling. It really makes the case for self-awareness having tangible impact.
Okay, so from tech giant transformation, let's switch gears. Different industry, different kind of challenge. Howard Schultz and Starbucks.
Ah, yes, his return.
Exactly. So back in 2008, Starbucks was struggling a bit, big time, actually.
Sure. Customer experience was slipping. Maybe the coffee quality wasn't quite there. They'd expanded so fast.
Yeah, it felt like maybe they'd lost their way a little. Spun out of control.
That's how Schultz saw it when he reflected. He'd stepped down as CEO earlier, and looking back, he felt that intense focus on just rapid expansion had kind of, overshadowed what made Starbucks special. The customer connection, the core brand values.
And he owned that. He admitted his part in it.
He did, which is a big deal for a returning CEO. He was very open about the mistakes made, both to employees and shareholders. That honesty was, I think, foundational to the comeback.
And then he did something really dramatic. I mean, closing the stores.
Oh, yeah. That was bold. He came back as CEO, admitted the errors, and then bam, closed over 7,000 U.S. stores for a whole day.
Just closed them for retraining.
Yep, to retrain every single barista on how to make the perfect espresso. Imagine the cost, the logistics. But it sent such a powerful message.
Totally symbolic, like we're going back to basics. Quality matters most.
Exactly. It wasn't just spin. It was a real, tangible, painful investment in fixing what was broken. After that, the whole company refocused hard on quality, the customer experience, looking after their employees, a fundamental shift in priorities.
And it worked, didn't it?
It absolutely did.
There you
Starbucks
go.
turned things around, got back to profitability,
Yeah.
customer satisfaction went up, store performance improved. They really regained that premium feel.
It just shows, doesn't it? Acknowledging mistakes, even big ones, and taking decisive, maybe even radical action based on that self-reflection, huge impact.
Immense power in that.
Okay, so we've seen two massive CEO examples. Our last case study is different. It's about a mid-level manager, someone facing a problem I think, well, a lot of us might recognize.
More relatable territory, perhaps?
So this manager, they keep running into conflict in team meetings, just friction, arguments.
Okay.
And they got some anonymous feedback. People describe this manager as rude, dismissive, always interrupting.
Ouch.
Right. But here's the kicker. The manager genuinely thought they were just being efficient, direct, getting things done.
The classic perception gap. I think I'm being efficient. You think I'm being a jerk.
Exactly. We've all seen it, maybe even been on one side or the other, you know?
For sure. And this really brings up a key point, doesn't it?
Yeah.
How do you bridge that gap between how you see yourself and how others actually experience you?
So what was the breakthrough for this manager?
It came from a 360-degree feedback exercise.
The 360. Explain that quickly for anyone unfamiliar.
Sure. It's basically structured feedback, but not just from your boss. You get input anonymously from your peers, people who report to you, maybe even other stakeholders you work with. Gives you that full circle view.
Right. All angles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And for this manager, that process laid bare the huge difference between their self-perception, efficient, focused, and the reality for others, rude, dismissive.
That must have been tough to hear.
Oh, I imagine so.
Yeah.
That kind of multi-source feedback revealing blind spots can be, well, jarring, confronting, definitely.
So how do people usually react to that? Is it instant acceptance? I doubt it.
Rarely smooth, no. Often the first instinct is defensiveness, maybe even anger. Like, that's not me. It takes real courage to sit with it, to actually listen and absorb feedback that clashes with your own self-image.
But this manager, they did.
They did. Once that blind spot was clear, they actually committed to making changes. Started recording their own meetings to see them objectively hear their tone, notice the interruptions.
Wow, recording themselves. That takes guts.
It does. And they sought coaching on communication, emotional intelligence, actively practiced listening skills, like letting people finish their thoughts.
Small changes, but hard to implement consistently.
Very. And crucially, they asked their team for feedback regularly, like monthly check-ins, to see if things were improving. That's inviting ongoing scrutiny, which shows real commitment.
That continuous loop. Okay, and the result?
Pretty dramatic, according to the HR data. Conflicts in meetings dropped by over 60%.
60%, that's huge.
Huge. And team engagement scores went up in the next survey. And get this, the manager got promoted within a year.
Seriously?
Yep, because their leadership presence had noticeably improved. It just shows how one person, once they gain that self-awareness and truly act on it, can transform their impact and, well, their career.
Okay, so we've looked at Nadella, Schultz, this mid-level manager.
Yeah.
3 very different scenarios. What's the common thread here? What does this all mean for us, for anyone listening?
Well, when you boil it down, looking across all 3, it's clear that self-awareness isn't just passive navel-gazing. It's an active, often courageous process.
Oh, so?
It seems to start with honest reflection, sure, but then it requires actively seeking out feedback, hearing how others see you, and really understanding your own natural style, warts and all.
Right, it's that blend of internal looking and external listening.
Precisely. It's reconciling those two things, your intent versus your impact. And that reconciliation, that bridging of the gap, that's what sparks the real transformation. It's the doing something with the awareness.
And it doesn't have to be earth-shattering changes initially, right? The manager example shows that.
Exactly. Even seemingly small but really intentional, shift in behavior, like pausing before speaking, asking more questions, consciously practicing empathy, those things, rooted in genuine self-awareness, can lead to massive improvements. Better leadership, better team dynamics, better business outcomes.
And it's not just for CEOs of giant corporations.
Not at all. These principles apply everywhere. To your leadership style, however big or small your team, to how you show up in meetings, in one-on-one conversations, even in your personal life, frankly. It's universal.
So, thinking about these stories, Nadella's empathy, Schultz's bold correction, the manager's response to feedback, it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What might you, listening right now, discover if you intentionally sought out some honest feedback about your leadership or just how you interact day to day?
It's a powerful question.
And if you got that insight, what small intentional change might it inspire? What could that unlock for you? Something definitely worth reflecting on. We encourage you to continue your own deep dive.